different feel and almost a sense of responsibility to them. I didn't want to let the day end with this morning's video hanging in the air. I was angry, and what I said was honest, but I don't want people to think that that's what I spent my entire day focused on, because it certainly was not. I know people go back and watch these videos, and so um, I, even though no one is here, I was asked what teachings I really gravitated to, and that was an easy question for me to answer. The Beatitudes. The Beatitudes found in Matthew are what kept me going a lot of times. And when things started to feel really, really down, and blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, so because they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are you when others revile you and persecute you, utter all kinds of evil against you falsely on my account. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. That was a big thing, because I know a lot of people are getting caught up now with the whole Isaac Cappy drama, but I've been at this, like I said, for a really long time, and a lot of it has always been spiritual for me. When I went I want to talk a little bit about the darkness. When you're not separated from the Father, the next time around, there is no veil. There's no, God in heaven interacts with man at will. In the darkness, this is the thing about the darkness. If you find yourself in the darkness, eventually there's only going to be one thing for you to do, and that is to go to sleep. And people who find themselves in the darkness, who fall asleep, will go into having dreams. And the funny thing about it is that if you're not separate from the darkness, or separate from God and the Father, which I'm not, the darkness isn't dark. In fact, from what I've seen, it is the most amazing garden I've ever seen on the other side. That's the funny thing about it is that these people are asleep in a very place that they would have given both nuts and probably a left arm to exploit. And because it's just a lush, amazing garden. And but they don't see it. All they see is dark. Because the group that was involved with what I was involved with, which are the ones who are basically running shit. The people in Hummel Park, they were all movers and shakers. And they were running shit. And so they wanted complete separation. from the Father. And so heaven is blessing them with that. And so when they fall asleep, they're going to fall asleep in this garden. And they're going to get exactly what they wanted. They will never be woke. Never. They will never be woke. And when they go to sleep, all the anger and rage and pain and all of that stuff that I spent so many years channeling, because like I said, the darkness for a long time for me was just a place. And it's still a place. But when I gave the darkness the bonds to their souls that they pledged to me as a child, that was when it became a thing. And it's here to claim what it's due. And but they're going to fall asleep in this darkness. And all of the pain and rage that I've spent, all of that, that's what's going to influence their dreams. You know? And they're going to do to themselves what their group was so willing to do to everyone else. They get to be the master of their realm. Every single one of them wanted to be the master of their realm. And so heaven is blessing them with, they will be the master. Each one of them will be the master of their realm. Death does not exist. When we pass here, we just go to the other side. Death doesn't exist. And next time around, there is no death for anybody. If you find yourself in the garden, you're not going to die. But on the same hand, if you find yourself in the darkness, neither are any of you. And the shit part about in a dream is that you can't fall asleep in a dream. And so the nightmares that you're inflicting on yourselves will never end because you can't fall asleep in a dream. And so your consciousness will be in that dream for an eternity. You know, I just think that most people don't understand what is real. That's true. You know, someone said we don't really know what is real. No, the Luciferian Nazis that I grew up with, this was secret knowledge. You know, made the people who knew it and were involved with it were all powerful. But I was thinking about it because my dad dying happened when I was 39, and then I turned 40 that year. And with everything about helping Uriel, getting possessed by the same thing that my dad, I think I've told that story. I don't want to keep repeating myself in these videos, but right before my dad died, having that dream for 3 nights, then having that thing inside of me and it telling me I could do whatever I wanted, all I had to do was ask. And what I asked was, if it had, the next day I woke up and decided, okay, because my therapist was a shaman. I was able to talk to her, and I was able to get involved with a guy who was in shamanic extractment, because that's the problem with leaving your body and going astrally projecting yourself, is that when your soul leaves your body, it allows things to actually get inside of you. And I know that this is controversial, but there are people who do this, and it was all part of the training. You know, remote viewing was a huge part of the training with Mike Lucchino and his group, which were all, I assume, Nazi scientists. You know, they were bad people. They're still bad people. This group is still bad. And I just didn't want to leave the day with that video that I made this morning because I was really angry. The stuff that they were beaming at my head was just awful. But what ends up happening is that I have the power of adaptation. Because this shit that they're beaming, the difference between now and when I was a kid is that when I was a kid, they had to stick you in a room. I got stuck in a room and had this shit done to me. But it makes you adaptable. That is a huge part of this whole thing. You know, adapting and still moving forward. It might fucking kill me. And it probably will. But it won't stop me. You know, I'll keep going like the Terminator until I can't go anymore. And even then, you know, so why would anyone be spending that resources? Why would they blow up a gas station and cover it up? The thing about it, what people do not understand is that I am far from the only one. Far from the only one. There is a whole group of people who are complaining that they are being inundated with these machines. And remote viewing, astral projection is another thing. Going in your mind to places. And like I said, they used the best and the brightest, and they used empaths. All of us that were really highly used were incredibly empathic, and the reason why people are empathic is because they have this like you care about everything, and that's what makes an empath. And they were using that and then trying to focus us on a way that we could. Everything has a vibration. Like this is a favorite line of mine that I tell people. When you lie to me, I may not know what the truth is, but I will hear that you are not speaking it to me. Because a lie has a different frequency. It's hard to explain, but it sounds off. The truth always has a vibration that's rich. When people are telling you the truth, you can feel the truth. Not so much hear it, but feel it. At least that's what we were trained to do. And exactly, lies feel off. And you may not know why. And we were trained to use our intuition, to trust our intuition. And not only were we trained to think out of the box, we were taught to think like there was no box, to have anything open. And they actually wanted to build an army of men behind the curtains who actually had power. And that's, you know, and they all flag for you, David. I don't know if that's an insult. I don't really feel necessary to lie to anybody. The stuff that I have said, yes, you have heard it all before. For years, consistently, over and over and over and over. And it will continue. But I wonder how many X-flares we got hit with today. You know, because the planet is cooking. We are here. The spiritual stuff that's happening is just. I'm really hoping that so many people find themselves on the new earth, the new garden. Because again, the next time around, there is no separation. There's no veil. Heaven interacts with the faithful. And those who are claimed by the dark will be asleep in that garden, having an eternity of horrid nightmares. And so, no, it doesn't. It doesn't change or adapt, you know? And it's interesting that you speak in such ambiguities. You know, oh, I'm just, I know that my opposition, I don't have anything to back it up. Really, what I'm telling you is just what I know. But when it comes down to it, the only thing that you need to fucking worry about is to be following the word and having love in your heart. Because if you don't, you're screwed. You're screwed. And that's what I said. All of our dogma, it doesn't make any difference. Believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. You know? Believe that fairies come and move around, or there's absolutely nothing. Believe whatever dogma you want to believe. But right now, we're being cooked like we were told we were going to be. The shit from Beetlejuice is on its way. And fill your hearts with love is the only way to ascend to the new garden. Otherwise, you get claimed by the dark. And if that's what you want to fight for, and you want to have arguments for, and you want everyone to follow you for, whoever wants to follow you, go for it. Go for it. Because if you think that's exactly where you're going to want to go, I assure you, it is not. You know, it's not. Compassion, empathy, caring about each other. Right now, the way the world is working, we're all going to need each other. We're all going to need each other. Because these dumbass elites who are all in power don't have the power anymore. They've all lost control everywhere. And so eventually, here soon, I would assume, we're going to need each other, you know? And the shit about these targeted energy weapons are nothing new. They're nothing new. I've been going through this for a long time. I've been bitching about this shit for a long time. It's nothing new. It's just sometimes it's really hard to deal with. And I wake up and I'm just, you know, but everything is almost over, you know, almost over. That's the sad part about it. The problem that I have with that whole argument about gnosis is that Luciferians believe in perfect gnosis. But the way to get to perfect gnosis is through greater and more sin. And that's how they achieve perfect gnosis. But they don't have the fallen anymore. You know, they don't have the fallen. After what happened on my 40th birthday, if you need to know, just go read Confessions of an Antichrist. It's on my blog, davidshurter.com. But after that happened, and my 40th birthday, and then I ended up journeying a day or two later and going inside because I needed to find the Father. I go to Jesus a lot because I don't understand things in my journeys a lot of times. It's like dreams. Sometimes you have dreams and you can't figure out what the hell just happened. And I don't remember what the 30-minute journey was. But I listened to this drumming CD of Michael Harner, and I either listen to the single drumming 30 minutes or the double drumming 30 minutes. And it was a 30-minute journey. And in a 30-minute journey, I had the phrase, "I will come to you as a thief in the night," repeated to me 4 times. So 4 times in a 30-minute journey. So when I ended that journey, I knew it was significant, but I didn't know. My first thought was that God was warning me that they were going to come rob me. That's what I thought. But once I got my ego out of it and I started to actually consider it, what I realized was if I could do what I did for Uriel when my dad died, and then especially on my 40th birthday, that I could go find all the rest of the fallen. And I could take away the very power that protected these dickheads and allowed them to do whatever they wanted to do. And so I wrote that in Confessions of the Antichrist. I went and found all of the fallen and gave them the same deal. Go to war with heaven or be embraced back into heaven. And they were so happy. First of all, it wasn't nephews, it was nephew. And this is all satanic bullshit. And I'm not running behind any excuses. But I'm also not going to get distracted because I've dealt with all of this shit before. And the one nephew that you guys run with, no, it's not plural. It's not plural. And I'm going to just let you talk because people watch, you know, and investigators watch. And this is all stuff to get it distracted. It's the only thing you guys have. You want to know what the interesting part about it is that the very family that you are running with has criminal records because they were all involved with this. But the family that I was closest to and had much more exposure to and who were way younger, nothing happened. I don't have to prove shit, Len McNipple. I don't have to prove shit. Dowd, whoever you are, because you guys are so afraid that you're going to be looked at. And guess what? You're already being looked at. They're already investigating you because of the stuff that they've been watching this whole entire situation. It's not like I haven't reached out to all kinds of investigators and law enforcement. I do a lot of things just on my own, quietly. And so everyone is being investigated. I can't do shit, but I would just ignore them. This is the only thing that they have. Well, I don't either. You know, the funny thing about it, at 57 years old, if I was who you say I was, I would have a criminal record, unlike your whole group has criminal records, and I don't. Serious criminal records. Serious criminal records. And heaven is right here watching. Heaven is right here watching. Heaven is right here. That shit from Beetlejuice, first of all, there's nothing slowing it down. It got shot out by a sun that was 10 times bigger than our sun. That shit is coming. It is over. You know? So I tell you what, you let me worry about my soul, and I, if I were you, would certainly be worried about mine. You know? I don't have any problems. I did what I did because I love heaven, and I love people. And this group needs to be stopped. They need to be stopped. And I'm hoping that they investigate me and this whole situation. You know, they need to be stopped. And it's not about me. And what I have realized is that they probably started to investigate me. And then they started to look into this thing with Isaac. But once they do that, it's going to take off. I don't even have a clue as to what they're going to find. I just realized they're going to find a whole lot. I haven't escaped shit. I have not escaped shit. And let me tell you another thing. If what you are saying happened and this was such an open thing, first of all, my sister Cindy would have had my balls, and my dad would have killed me. So that's the whole thing while you're going on and on about all of this stuff. No, Isaac Cappy isn't going to be left rest to peace. You know? You know? It's not going to just stay. And that's why you guys are fighting so hard. That's why you're in here fighting the argument that Satanic Temple has fought all this time. You know? My father, my stepmother, my brother never got out of it. Neither did my sister, Cindy. Her family didn't get out of it. Kathy got out of it because Kathy was crazy. I got out of it because I told them to go fuck themselves. But it keeps, when families are involved with this, it generally keeps those families involved with it. You know? Isaac Cappy was definitely murdered. And that's what they're trying to fight so hard. Someone who is guilty doesn't go to the police and force them to take their DNA, which I've done. They don't write a fucking book. They don't contact the police over and over and over. They certainly don't make fucking videos. You know? I have never stopped. Oh, please. Please, like you fucking knew my father. You know? Give me a break, my whole family. So, you're just in here because you are afraid that everything else is getting investigated. They're gonna find out that all of these Satanic Temple daycares are all involved with it. That's why they're popping up every place. They're going to find out that Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves, is involved with an entire group of people who are actually, I'm not deflecting shit. What you're trying to do is deflect, Miss Lynn McNipple. You're trying to control the narrative, and I am done with it. I'm done with it. You know? I don't give a shit who you Google, you know? And I don't care anything about you, Len McNipple. Anyway, so the situation with this whole situation with Isaac is that they're trying to close it down. They're trying to do their best to distract and close it down. The game changer was that program that now can read people's emails and figure out exactly who they are. And it's designed and built for child trafficking, which is what this group is all involved with. And so now they're investigating it. I do not have to bring anything forward. What I needed to do was light a flare and get everyone else to look at it. The people who are valuable in this, whose opinions and investigations will matter. Because I realized early on, anything I bring forward, they're going to say is crazy because I brought it forward. But there is so much crap with this whole Isaac Cappy thing. These people have so many people who are quiet, but are totally against them. And they send out their information to anybody they think will help. And that's what's happening, is that they're finding out, these people, and they're getting all of this information. And you guys went on, and now you're quiet. And you're quiet, but the thing about it is that you've all gone quiet all at the same time, all at once. It's almost like you guys are coordinated, you know? I have noticed that you've suddenly gone quiet, You know, nobody's emailing, nobody's making videos, nobody's talking about me. I went through fucking months of hell, and now suddenly, I don't give a shit what you look at, dude. You're not an investigator, and I'm not stupid enough to bring shit to people I don't know. I want investigators to just go look at what I've been saying, and I know they are. You know? I don't think you're connected. I think you're probably a little kid who's hiding in your bedroom on here. That's what I think. But it gives me talking points because you fight their arguments. And so it's easy to talk, I appreciate having their arguments to actually deal with. Because a lot of times they're just, no, you're not going to control the whole situation. There are no kids, And if there were, that side would have already figured it all out, and I would have already been in jail because they've been on my ass all of my fucking life. And especially since I wrote that book, And so that's why, go ahead. It's just to distract from what I'm saying. It is over. I cannot stress that enough. The sun is hitting us with, yesterday was what, 3 X-flares? Oh. I see Lynn McNipple. Everyone meet Daniel Dowd, who just texted me. That's Daniel Dowd. That's the one who actually has a mugshot for molesting a child. That's the one that's accusing me of kids, is the one who actually has a mugshot. So why would you bother? That's the question. Why aren't you here bothering? If I was crazy and a liar and people could see that, but that is Daniel Dowd or one of their sewer town rat people. And the dumbass is texting me right now, which will be fun because that way I can take screenshots and send it all to investigators. And these people dance around like monkeys in heat. And they have no real conception of what fucking reality is. If you were doing the stuff that they were doing, I wouldn't be fucking parading it around. Like, you can't be fucking touched. Because you're about to find out that you're wrong. And so, I am not worried about anything that gets brought forward with my sister Cindy's family. I hate to say it, but they were so fucked up. The one I actually thought would make it, Megan, died in a gunfight with police with her drug dealer boyfriend. And so, what you have is a 16-second clip from a 11, 12-minute video that I spoke about Doug Mesner. And you took a snippet of that video and you paraded around like people can't tell that you edited it. It's really hard for me to even speak in... I'm long-winded, let's just put it that way. I'm rarely at loss for words. And so, you don't have shit, dude. You don't have shit. And the whole thing about it is, by now, if you did have shit, you would have already snatched me up with it. We're at decades now? Decades. decades. And I feel like you're Noreen Gosh, who's getting ready to expose what happened to Johnny Gosh. But she's been doing that exact thing for how many fucking decades? And it goes nowhere. All it is people just trying to distract from what I'm saying. You know, again, the shit from Beetlejuice got shot out by a sun. There is no friction in space, so it's not slowing down. It's the entire surface. You know, dude, you're pissing me off. He keeps texting me as well. This is Daniel or one of the Satanic Temple idiots or whatever that are trying to, you know. I know that the sad part about he's saying I don't have a case. The sad part about it is that not only do I have a case with them, but then with Neil Gross. They have no fucking clue what's going on in town. The only reason why I found out about Neil Gross and the shit that he's involved with is because people in town started watching my videos and then coming and telling me. That's how I knew that it was like an open secret. You know, this whole drug thing that's going on out here is like an open secret. Everyone knows it. There is nothing to talk about. I am so sick. You know, what happened when I was 13? My nephew had to explain the shit to his kids because your group has all the shit out there on there. And now his kids are getting ready to have kids and he's afraid that he's going to have to explain it. And you guys are holding me fucking responsible for something I did when I was 13 and won't let it go. But the reason why you're doing that is because you don't have anything else. You don't have anything else. Of course I fucking care. It was my nephew. It was a horrid situation. It has caused a lot of pain and a lot of fucking strife in my family. It has. And if I could go back and undo what I did when I was having a psychotic break, mind you, after I was forced to light a man on fire when I was 10. So, I tell you what, if I gave a fuck, if it affected you at all, but there is nothing I can do, you know? Oh, now he's calling. The whole thing about it is, dude, you just called me 666. I am the devil. You have no mother. You should watch the video that I did this morning. You should. Because, yeah, I'm way more calmed down than I was then. But what I said this morning, I've watched that video several times. And if I were you, I would take heed to what I was saying. Because I don't talk out my ass. I don't. You know? I've put myself out here. I have. And so, oh, please. God. They just lie. They play games. It's like they're on drugs or they're psychotic. Some of both, you know? I don't even know what the fuck. It's just that they're all coordinated. And it's because they're running that child trafficking ring. Oh, give me a break. Texting me and calling me a pedophile. You might as well just call me a fucking purple polka dotted unicorn. Because it has the same effect. Your shit only works. If I had inclinations, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm gonna run. But you know what it does? It just pisses me the fuck off. Because what ends up happening is that your group exploits children with fucking pedophiles. That's what your group does. And so the fact that you are so hypocritical, you know, it's the group that you're in here fighting for, sweetie, you know? Because your group never has any responsibility. None. You play all these goddamn games, and then you're like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like you're, again, in fucking high school. But, fill your hearts with love. On the new earth, everything that is dying here is waking up there. And we are, things are getting crazy because we are getting hit with solar flare after solar flare after solar flare. Yesterday was 3 solar flares at once. And that's happened before. The first time it was 4 solar flares at once. And God is bringing all of us home because the fallen aren't here anymore to support all of this. All of these days are over. They're over. This is all going to burn away. And then what's not burned to a crisp, Beetlejuice is going to knock us right into the sun. Because that shit is huge. You know, it is huge. I may have just gotten high schoolers, but they have my phone number. But then who knows what's going on with my phone number now? You know, it's these people just never stop. And they are desperate to stop me and bring me down, but they have been at that for a long, long time now. You know, they blew up a gas station to try and get at me, you know? Because had the wall where that first explosion happened fell down, that 300 plus pound debris that ended up 9 blocks in a field on the other side of town because it shot out the big garage doors would have directly hit my house. And I had a huge white house on a hill across the street, no more than a quarter of a block down. And it would have brought my house down because my house used to be an old funeral home. So it was huge. And I do not find it coincidental that when the first explosion happened, had just gotten in the shower and had put my head underneath the water. I didn't even hear the first blast. And I hear that the first blast was bigger than the second blast. And so, but that in and of itself has screwed my sheriff. Because the official report says that there was only 1 explosion. And that is an idiotic argument. Dan was able to get himself out of the gas station, realized that his brother-in-law was still in the gas station, went back into the gas station, got his brother-in-law, got them both out to safety in the 9.5 minutes it took from the first explosion to the second explosion. And the second explosion leveled the fucking place. So if there was only 1 explosion and it leveled the place, what did the laws of physics not work that day? You know? How did Dan, was there a wormhole? How did that work? You know? And so I was raised to be the vessel for the Antichrist, dumbass. And when you find yourself in the dark, which I'm almost positive you're going to find out how appropriate that title is for me in the dark. You know? I'm not afraid of anything that I have said. I stand by it all. And always have. But even in this live video with this argument. Like I said, their arguments go in circles. There's no way to win. Because once you say something, they just go to something else. Like what you just said and what that was, that doesn't even exist. They just go to something else. And then they go to something else. They're always anonymous. And they're always hiding in the fucking dark. That's what they are. Because they believe they're legion. They can be anybody and everybody on the internet. Ooh, they're powerful. You know? That's how this shit works. That's why I say their group is not that big. Yes, there are people that they have caught and blackmailed, but their actual group is not that big. And key members are surrounding the whole Dead Isaac Happy Club. Key members to this group. And so, oh my God, if you're gonna keep texting me, at least get my fucking name, please. You know, because of course I'm gonna send this and screenshots of all of the shit that you're sending me to fucking investigators. You know, like I always do. And so that was the reason why I was told to start talking about Isaac Happy and opening up comments. Because for years, I wasn't going to deal with shit like this. That's what it was like. 24/7. This is what it was like. 24/7. That's why I stopped allowing comments. But now I realize it's too late. It's too late. Their shit is all being investigated. Their shit is all being investigated. Dude, I have told the truth. You tell me that I just go on and on and on and say the same thing over and over and over and over again. Because we're in a loop. Your arguments, you just want attention. And it's actually quite sad. It's like the dudes that parked the car behind at the place, and I sent the videos to my police and all of that. And if this is the superior race, the human race deserves to go extinct, you know? And so I just won't get, it's really hard because now I can't even read the conversation I see has become inane. You know, that's what they do. And they go on and on. The thing about my nephew needs to stop. The other shit, the reason why they came out and they even told me was because when they murdered my sister, I went after his dad, who was the city manager. Because his oldest daughter and my sister was saying, we're going to murder her. Cindy was begging to come live with us. And, but when it came down to it, it doesn't make any difference. Because what I did was, I went to Cindy on the other side and asked Cindy to go to my brother-in-law and never let him sleep. And if he did sleep, never let him rest. And 3 years later, he was dead. And I was speaking to his daughter, and I told his daughter what I just told all of you. And she got really quiet and told me, oh my God, that's exactly how Dad died. And it's just like, yeah, you know, shouldn't have killed my fucking sister. Death on the other side does not exist. You know, it doesn't exist. And the new earth, everything is waking up. People who find themselves will breathe in joy. All you will know is joy. for me, I've had to deal with the dark. And I've had to deal with this icky ass group that are just the most vile individuals you have ever known in your entire life. They revel in their dark, nasty wants and desires. They revel in that shit. But soon, this is all going to be over. And like I said, I was promised that after all of this, I never have to think about this group again. Ever. Ever. And the darkness is not, oh my God, stop texting me and calling me a pedophile. It does not bother me. I'm not a pedophile. You know, far fucking from it. And if I was a pedophile, I assure you, the bad guys would have figured it out by now. But I guess that I am like this fucking Lex Luthor mastermind criminal that can do just all kinds of shit and never get caught. You know, even though here I am every fucking day now making videos. So your argument is ludicrous. It is an idiotic argument that at its face does not even make sense. Especially when I'm out here telling investigators, investigate me. You know, go get my emails and find out who the fuck was emailing me. Get my phone records. They've texted me. They're texting me now in this video. You know? Fuck. Investigate me and find out who is doing this shit. You know? I'm not afraid at all. Because I know my place. That's what you guys... I was convinced that I was going to be the vessel for the Antichrist. But I didn't want to be the vessel for the Antichrist. So does it make a lot of sense if I think I'm going to be the vessel for the Antichrist, but I don't want to be the vessel for the Antichrist, so I'm going to go out and do a bunch of fucking nasty, evil shit? You know, that the Antichrist would do. I know. I need a monitor, you know? And, Michael Aquino is dead, you idiot. He killed himself 3 years ago. And then he resurrected himself. And then 3 years after that, just recently, he killed himself again. You know? It was fucking amazing. You know? Jesus in reverse. But... it's just, I know we're at the end. And I know that filling your hearts with love is really hard. Especially for a lot of you out there, because you're an empath and because you've had love in your heart, you have probably been kicked and trampled your whole freaking lives. I know I have. And I can't tell you that you're not going to be martyred doing what I'm asking you to do. I'm just telling you it's important and that you should do it. You know, that you should do it. Dude, the one thing I know about my ex, now that you just brought his name up, is that he doesn't want anything to do with any of you. Nothing. Nothing. And Michael doesn't have anything on me. That's the whole reason why our lives, I am boring, you know? And so there was nothing there. The reason why we broke up for the most part is because he wanted a way different life than what I wanted. And so I don't wish him any ill. I did at one point in time. He was the very last person I ever cast on, to be quite honest. I've only cast on people twice. And sending people to darkness is not the same as casting. Casting was my own energy, my own anger, and it's the stuff that Aquino taught. And I don't need to leech off the fallen. And yes, you guys will actually make fun of shit that you don't have a fucking clue about. You know, if you actually understood what Aquino was about, you would understand the stuff that am talking about when it comes to casting and the witchcraft and all of that stuff, because it was all happening. You know, it was all happening. And it hasn't just happened to me, it's happened to other people. Lots of other people. And what ends up happening is that your group does the same shit to them that you're doing to me right now. Because it's always the same. Your games are always the fucking same. You do the same shit. Your playbook comes out of the fucking dark ages. And it's never... The issue with it is that if you have to think outside the playbook, none of you can. You couldn't think your way out of a wet paper bag. My sister's name, you spelled my sister's name wrong, sorry. But I nothing that I'm saying is original. Nothing that I'm saying, actually, stuff that I'm saying, a lot of the shit that I'm saying was written over 2,000 years ago. What the fuck? Do you think I'm over 2,000 years old? Because the shit that I'm saying is, you know, again, how I started this. Jesus Christ. People ask me. The story that I identify the most with Jesus Christ is the Garden of Gethsemane. And the reason why is because I've been there. I begged heaven not to make me go through all of this, because it's been horrid. And so the whole Garden of Gethsemane, I have a beautiful picture of it that was given to me by both my ex and a friend. They got together on Valentine's Day of all days, and gave me a beautiful picture of Garden of Gethsemane. And it's what I identify with the most. And I can tell you, you don't need to listen to me. And you can argue the Bible till you're blue in the face. But the teachings of Jesus Christ are infallible. We are required to love God, life, and everyone else. The 2 commandments that Jesus Christ gave us. That trump, if you're doing those 2, then the 10 that preceded it are a no-brainer. You don't even have to even fucking think about those if you're doing the 2 that Jesus Christ gave us. And right now is more important than any time. And I have said this before, there is an army of us from heaven that are here. And yeah, we've been trampled and hurt, you know, and no, you can't trust people. And what I'm asking you to do, fuck, you're not going to be able to trust anybody. You trust in God. That's the reason why I stay in this. Today, I had to pay for gas. And I walked out of the gas station, and the sky, all of a sudden I looked up at the sky, and the clouds and the sun that was coming out, and the sky almost seemed surreal today. And in that moment, I felt like heaven was right there, and it was embracing me, and I felt okay. You know, I know what I'm doing right now, I'm supposed to do. I've known that I'm supposed to do this for a long time. That's why I've done this for a long time. But now, waking people up to try and get us through the time of sorrows, someone has to do it. Someone who's not going to preach about greed or want to build a church or build $1,000 Baphomet statue. You know, all of the other bullshit that all of these idiots do. You are, we all are responsible. All of us. Is it fair? No. No, it ain't fair. Go play a violin someplace. It ain't fair. I'm not telling you that it's fair. It's just the way it is. And things have changed. Things have changed. You know, in ways that I have not even... I've been shocked at the changes that have happened and the people that are starting to stand. Because what's happening is that evil thought that it was going to take over. They really did think that all of their fascist bullshit was just, and people were just going to let them. You know, well, they always thought that they were going to get helped by the fallen. And the funny thing about the fallen is that when I helped the fallen over, this whole war with heaven, they knew they could not win this war with heaven. It didn't make any difference how many little human beings they had. To think that you can actually go to war with heaven doesn't even make sense, really. But when I went to go find the fallen, a lot of them were just hoping that what would happen is that they would end up going to war with heaven because there was a group, Azazel and his group, and they were going to go to war with heaven. And the others were just hoping that it pissed off heaven so bad that heaven blanked them out of existence. Because their pain from being separated from heaven, the only place they had ever known, they just wanted their pain to end. You know, they just wanted their pain to end. And Azazel can't help them, and his group can't help them either. It's funny because I had journeyed, that all happened with the fallen. And it was just recently, like within the last couple of years, I went and did a journey. I'm just going to take this off. I went and did a journey, and it was just a nothing journey. I was just, you know, I like to go over to the other side because it's just, the other side is amazing. And heaven is amazing. And has its own terrain that you can go to in your head if you know how. Because the kingdom of heaven is inside of us. But at the very end, I was getting ready to finish the journey. And I ended up in a room, and I was standing in front of an angel. And at the time, I had no idea who it was, but he knew exactly who I was. And he had the most amazing eyes. I want to say that his eyes were molten gold, but it was like, not only was the molten gold on fire, but the molten gold was fire. His eyes were just mesmerizing. But all of a sudden, this power comes out from inside of me. Was so not my power. It was not mine. I was just a conduit. And all of a sudden, he was gone. And then the very next day, I went and journeyed again because I didn't understand what had just happened. And the minute I closed my eyes and went inside, mentally got attacked by this group of people, this group. And same thing happened. A power that came outside of me. It was not mine, but complete heaven. and took them. And what's ended up happening is that they're in the darkness. They're asleep, dreaming that they're men, experiencing the shit that the angels helped bring about. So that's what ends up happening. The way heaven has instrumented all of this and set it all up has just been amazing to watch. Because I don't know what it's like for you guys, but me following heaven and listening to God and doing what I'm told, it's always a need to know basis. You get told to do shit, but you don't get told why you're supposed to do it. You're just supposed to do it. And I always have now. I always do. Because I've gotten thumped. When I was younger, much younger, I tried to bucket, and it never works well. And there's a lot of benefits that go with it, you know? Being in service to heaven. Heaven is worthy of your love, and it is worth any sacrifice that you need to make in this life. What in this whole scope of eternity is one life to give to God? It's not so much to ask. And I'm not talking the church, and I'm not talking doctrine. I'm talking living the word. Loving as much as you can. Loving life, loving God, loving the people around you. Filling your hearts with love. And any excuse that you make to the contrary is to your detriment right now. I can assure you. And I've never understood the whole argument against love, you know? The rest of the Bible, you know, yeah, I can understand people's, it was all designed that way. But when I was trying to get out of being the Antichrist, I didn't just read the Bible. I also read the Quran. And I have a Jewish background, so it was easy to find stuff for that. And I'm not Jewish. Let me just put it that way. Never have been Jewish. But what I know from looking into all of them, other than the Egyptian Book of the Dead, all of them, the very basis of all of them is loving. Loving God, loving everyone else. Obviously, they don't all have Jesus Christ, but fundamentally, Muslims believe the core is the same thing. The core to Judaism is the same thing. The core to Christianity is the same thing. All of the doctrine that's come out of it and all of the editing by all these men who have always wanted to fucking stay in control. And nothing throughout the ages has changed. They all fucking want control. If you listen to the hot Kansas City football player, all you women are good for is to be in the kitchen and have babies. So I don't know if I should be friends with any women because I like to cook and I certainly don't want no babies. But, you know, of course, it's ridiculously stupid when you consider the dude's mom is a physicist or a physicist. But that's the kind of shit, this mentality. This Lynn McNipple, this idiot, this is their mentality. That's how they are, you know? And it's sad. It's just because they think there's something. And nothing could be further from the truth. And you want to know what? Compassion is winning. The fallen said that they could turn all of mankind against God. That was their boast. And mankind wanted fucking evil. We ate from the Garden of Evil, so basically heaven blessed both. The angels, you want to turn them all against heaven, you got it. But it's the only thing you got. And with mankind, you want evil? Okay, have some evil, you know? And now we are where we are. And is anybody surprised? It is the logical conclusion when chaos is allowed to rule. But what's ending up happening is that people that they thought would go along like sheep, it's not going to be like it happened in World War II. You aren't going to be able to load anyone onto fucking train cars because everyone is going to stand up against you. The problem that they have with this Antifa, first of all, Antifa isn't even a group. It's not an organized group. But Thomas has called me an Antifa leftist. And you want to know what? You want to know about Antifa? Antifa originates in World War II. They were the anti-fascists, the anti-Nazis. You're damn right. I would have tried to be right on the front lines of Antifa in World War II, just like I am now. You know? Because what I fight is a Nazi group and a Nazi mentality. Bunch of murdering Nazi pedophile pieces of shit. You know? They don't like to be called out. And need to be. Excuse me. Water. I just didn't want to end the day with this morning's video because I was upset. They woke me up at 1:30 and I was burning up. It hurts. Being microwaved fucking hurts. It just does. Being fucking microwaved with their direct energy weapons that the U.S. Air Force went in front of Congress in 2006 and said that they had, and said that they were going to use them on American citizens to show the rest of the world they were safe. They fucking hurt. And it drives people insane. The only reason why it doesn't completely take over is because I learned all about dissociation and compartmentalization and have control over that because I went to therapy. So I can compartmentalize it and dissociate it away from it. But eventually it's going to kill me, just like it's killed so many others, you know? And so, but spiritually, I know that I've done the right thing. Because what I was supposed to do is get them to stand up and strike me down. That's what I had to do. And I've fucking succeeded in that in ways that I don't even think I realize. Because I'm sure they have tried to do stuff and failed, and I didn't even realize they were trying to do shit. You know? And so I have done that. They have risen up and tried to strike me down repeatedly, over and over and over again. And in doing so, they all bound themselves to me. But those bindings that they bound to me, I have given to the dark. And now the dark is here. And, you know, in the scope of time, 2025 is really not that far away. And the shit from Beetlejuice is on its way. You know? The shit from Beetlejuice is on its way. And there'll be no stopping it. Just like there's no stopping the sun from cooking us right now. And you ain't bound to me, dumbass. Lynn McNeil. That's what I have a problem with. You guys just don't have comprehension skills, obviously. You are not bound to me. Your evil shit that you fucking thought you could just do to me and it wouldn't have any consequence. You bound yourself to me, but I gave those bonds to the dark. You are bound to the very dark you love so much. You know? What are you bitching about? You've spent your entire fucking life strutting around telling yourself how fucking powerful you are because you are the dark. Ooh. It's what you always wanted. It's what you always wanted. You know? And so now you're going to get it. But it's that whole adage. Be careful what you wish for. You wanted the dark, and now you're going to get the dark. Because heaven loves to bless people with what they want. Oh my God. Could you be any more juvenile? You know? It's... If you do not have love in your heart, you will not ascend. There'll be no argument, no second chances, nothing. And that's the way it is. That is the way we were always told it was. We just decided along the way that it didn't matter or that it didn't, you know. No. Along the way, a huge group has lost their fear of God. And we are coming to a very moment where God is about to give it back to us and bless us with it. And that's what's happening. I don't want to sound like Marjorie Taylor Greene, because Marjorie Taylor Greene always points fingers. Like, oh, it's someone else, it's this or it's that. It's just happening. It's just happening. You know? The sun is inundating us with X flare after X flare after X flare, and the gamma radiation is having a serious effect on everything on the planet. The oceans, the earth, the atmosphere, the weather, everything. And it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Significantly worse. So that alone is a threat. But again, the shit from Beetlejuice is headed this way. And it is about me trying to get as many people woke up and at least try to fill your hearts with love, you know? And I know that there's people out there who know what I'm talking about, and they know they're being called, and I know you're scared. And just have faith and face the fear. And do it out of love, not out of judgment. You're not to use the word as a sword and shield. Neither one are acceptable. You know, the issue is that we're called to try and emulate Jesus Christ as much as we can. That's what we're supposed to do. He loved as much, and he taught about love. That was the whole key to his teachings. And I'm not, again, people's doctrine is bullshit. They can think of anything that they want. Oh my God, your arguments are just like dealing with a 4-year-old. You're just desperate for fucking attention. It's kind of sad. It's not kind of sad, it is sad. And so, I just think that all of us are reaching a point where life is interesting. And, sorry, I seem to have a mess here. I watered a plant, and it was too much. Anyway, with that, I'm going to get off here because I feel like I'm just rambling. Heaven does have an army here. I know there's an army of us here. And despite all the shit that we have gone through in this life, we're still focused and concerned with other people and with love. And that is the way it's going to work. And this idiot, I don't even remember his name's not there, and it's insignificant to me, so I'm forgetting it. But when it comes down to it, the process church, the thing about it is that a lot of that stuff is all wrong shit. Wrong shit. You know, I got baptized Mormon when I went out to Washington. And so I studied with Mormons in the Mormon church. And what I found with the Mormon church is that it was filled with people who just wanted to live the word. They really were just incredibly amazing people. But the church is of the devil. And I didn't understand why they didn't. Joseph Smith was approached by God and Jesus Christ as beings of light. Well, Lucifer is known as the light bearer. And so I was just like, well, if he's alone, then he was given these plates of gold by the angel Moroni that he had to decipher with seeing stones. None of it made any sense to me. It was all just bad, you know, just crazy stuff. I did get baptized though, because I wanted total immersion. I wanted to be underwater. And someone just keeps saying waiting, never o'clock. I don't understand, because I'm usually not looking at the conversation. Conversation is more for all of you guys. Every once in a while I look down, and then if I see something cool, you know, I like to reply on it. I just wanted you guys all to see that I was not going to bed all pissed off and angry, you know. It's just that, yes, I do believe that Alex Jones was connected to Aquino. Aquino was CIA, and CIA has had control of fucking everything and everybody. If they have a huge platform and they're making tons of money, they're involved. Only when they're downtrodden and getting tramped on the ground is when they're actually real. That's the issue with it, is that all the people that we're watching on television, they're all part of the system. Every frickin' one of them. They're just, and yes, they're on supposed opposing sides, but they're not on opposing sides. They're all on the same side. They're fighting for the same, excuse me, same system. And so if they have a lot of followers and a lot of money and a lot of this and a lot of that, they're bad. You know, they're bad, and that's just they're bad. It that's how it works because they don't allow anybody who's not them or one of them to get ahead. That's just how it works. They don't allow anybody. It is going well, you know. This morning started off rough, but I have really good. When I was out, Linger finally convinced me to let these health professionals, because in Washington they come over and they actually will sit in your house and do a health assessment, a mental health assessment. And Lenger was just like, just to, cross our T's and dot our I's. Will you just let me bring some people over? And I told him, yeah, because Lenger was the only one, cop in Algona that I trusted. He was the only one I trusted. Big fuck, he's not even there anymore. But so he brought these health people over, and one was transitioning, and she was all fascinated with Lucy, and so she played with Lucy, and then there was another girl there, and they were asking me what I was going to do, and I told them I'm just going to go walk around the sound. I need to get my mind clear, and I'm better at around water. I love water, and obviously, and just had and they told me that I had really good coping skills, and it's because I've had so much therapy, and I actually had a really good therapist. A therapist who didn't have a freaking clue about anything I was talking until she met me. And then she had to learn right along with me. And it was amazing, you know. Water is great, you know. I'm a fire sign, but I'm really drawn to water. And the ocean is wonderful, but I am just sad because I'll never get in it because it's so dirty now. And or a lake. I'm fine with lakes. The water. That's why baths are they're calming to me. And I know my opposition hates it when I do bathroom ones. That's why, don't be surprised one day when I end up taking a bath and I have a bow tie on, because someone gave me that idea and they're right. They would just go off the rails. They do go off the rails. They actually, I think, hate me doing these live videos. And I think they hate me doing these live videos because now you can see that I'm not paranoid schizophrenic, because I can't be sensible on certain things, but then the things you don't agree with or don't understand, then I'm crazy. It doesn't work that way. Crazy is crazy all the time. You're not crazy about certain things, and then other things you're not crazy about. It would just, and so I just know that talking about Isaac Cappy, now I know who is involved, and it makes me sad that those are the people that Isaac Cappy had at the end of his life. And it just, in so many ways, I feel like I failed Isaac. But there was nothing that I could do. In my defense, there was nothing I could do. He was harassing Michael Aquino on the phone. It was the craziest freaking thing I'd ever heard in my life. And I didn't do it. Usually when I'm in the bath, it's the stuff that when I'm in the bath, I think clearer in the bath. I don't know what it is about the hot water. Isaac was my friend. Cappy is one of my lieutenants on the other side. Max Spears, Isaac Cappy, and my friend Larry. They're the ones. That's the reason why this group can't beat what's coming from them. Because all the people that were involved with Max Spears, Max is dealing with them on the other side. I requested it, and so he's doing it. Isaac Cappy, same thing. All the people that were around Isaac Cappy and brought him down, that's who Isaac Cappy gets to fuck with. And I've asked them flat out to fuck with them. And I only give one caveat, and that's no mercy. No mercy. They get the exact same fucking mercy that they gave. And the funny thing about it with heaven is that when I went to heaven with my anger and all of that, it seemed that heaven has the same anger for a lot of the same reasons. So, you know, it was, what are you talking about and waiting? See, the fun thing about it is that the longer it takes, the worse it is. That's how it works. And so I'm very patient with this stuff because they cast, and if you know how to do the shit that Aquino taught me, and you cast, it's kind of instant gratification. It works. You can see it right away. It works. I was told I couldn't cast on anybody. I could only cast into the dark. So when I want to cast, what I've had to do is go inside and go to heaven and ask heaven to cast for me. I do all of the intention and all of that work, but the actual sending the energy out and all of that, I go inside to ask heaven to do it. The thing about it is that kind of work, it takes way longer. You have to have patience to get God. You have to have patience because it could take forever. But I will tell you from personal experience, over and over and over, when you take it to God and allow God to cast it for you, the results are freaking spectacular. Spectacular. Heaven always shows up in spectacular results. It's kind of getting dark here. I'm going to turn on the light. Hold on. I'll be right there. Sorry. Cleaning up my previous mess. I overwatered a plant, and there's water all over my table. And since I had to turn on the light, I decided to grab the paper towels right outside of the room and clean up the mess. Okay, well, with that said, I've been on here for an hour and 34 minutes. And again, I just wanted to come in. It's interesting that these live videos have a different feel to them because I almost feel responsible in a way. Whereas the videos that I have been making, that I post every morning, those are for me. You know, those I'm saying, usually I have those idiots in mind because they're just fucking dumbasses. They're like fourth graders, you know, and they don't realize how serious the shit is, and they don't realize that it's about ready to come all down, and it won't be all fun and games, and they won't be laughing. Right now, they're too stupid to know anything else, and so I don't feel sorry for them at all. I don't feel sorry for them at all. I'm kind of almost happy because this group has done so much damage and so much needs to come back to them. And oh my God. And they're harassing me. While they're harassing me on here, they're also texting me to my phone because they have my phone number. And so it's, I guess that I'm supposed to cower and be all afraid. You know, that's not the case. And if these dumbasses had even a brain, if they were even capable of a fucking original thought on their own, they would realize what was right in front of them. And I am so the least of their worries because it's not me they face, it's the dark. And the dark is already inside of them. And the only thing that all of us need to worry about is the darkness doesn't get inside of us. And if it does get inside of us, the only way to expel it, 665, you're an idiot, dude. The only way to expel it is love in your heart. You know, care about each other. You know, if you have any questions, the Beatitudes, I can't express that enough. When you start to feel low, those are heaven's promises. And heaven fulfills its promises. It may take a long time, might seem like it's forever, because sometimes it does feel like it's forever, it's never going to happen. But be certain of what you hope for, and be sure of what you hope for, and certain of what you do not see. Hebrews, that's what faith is all about. You know, be certain, be sure of what you hope for, you know, and certain of what you do not see. It's happening. It's happening to this, you know. Heaven is working miracles every day. We have to allow ourselves to allow heaven to work miracles through us because heaven is inside of us. And so it comes through all of us. And if you have your heart filled with love, it never is a problem. And heaven is so worthy of your love, even with all of their shit. And this is coming from a dude that just fucking murdered my best friend. What, 2 months ago? 2.5 months ago. They're beating the shit out of me with their machines. They're on top of me left and right. They do 6 and 7 hour fucking videos about me left and right. Not so much anymore. Now they've decided, well, now we're not going to talk about him, so we'll just pretend that nothing ever happened. Like, that's going to work either. But, I know there's shit now. And I am telling you, with all of the stuff that I've had to go through, I'm telling you, it's still worth it. It's still worth it. If I had to do it all over again, I would still make the same choice because it's so worth it. Heaven is worthy of your love. And we are called, we were told to do things, and I suggest we all get to doing them and stop worrying about what everyone else is fucking doing. Because what they're doing isn't going to make any difference when you're standing in front of your maker. And you all will. We're all going to very soon here. You know? You just have to love. Dude, your little insults are just... What do you think? I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight? Oh, he doesn't like me. He insulted me. Oh. Sorry. It's just so sad. They can hide in the shadows and push buttons to terrorize people in the from the dark and all of that, but they're just so sad. And they're not happy as people. Okay, please end with prayer. I will. That's a wonderful idea. Father, we come to you with open hearts. Please direct each one of us to what you are calling us to do. And let us be brave enough to stand and answer the calling. And we all know that we are called to love. Love you, love life, love everyone else. But how to do that sometimes, the logistics are hard to figure out. So please guide each one of us and show us each the way so that we can make life better with us in it. Try to strive for each one of us to make it our goal to make someone's life a little bit better just because we were in it and were able to help. Guide us and embrace us with your love, and let us know that we, although we may walk through the darkness and face perils, that death doesn't exist and the new earth is right before us. And we say these things in your Son's name, gratefully and graciously. Amen. So, yeah, this is actually is a rock. It's a rock, and that's metal. It's a metal tree. And I'm a big I'm a big life person, plants. Thank you. I like praying with people, and it doesn't make any difference when more than one is gathered in my name. And I think that that's where it's headed. I've said that before, that we are all meant to wake each other up and help each other through all of this. And it's not about each one of us being the one. It's all of us collectively being the one and all of us doing our part to doing that. You know, it's not about ego. It's just about compassion. And it's about compassion. We are to emulate our brother. That is how it is supposed to be. We are as best as we can. And trust me, I'm nowhere near as bad as these assholes want me out to be. But I'm not going to be teaching how to walk on water anytime soon. You know, I'm struggling just a lot. Look at what I was like this morning. You know, professing hate. Oh yeah, that was healthy. I leave that shit on there so that people can see it, but professing hate is not really. I was so angry this morning. I was so angry this morning. I'm just tired of getting hit with their machines and getting attacked, and most of them couldn't think their way out of a paper bag. A wet paper bag that had a fucking tear in it. You know. Thank you for I felt bad. I just didn't want to end the day thinking. I didn't want everyone thinking that I had spent the entire day festering on that. Like I said, I do those videos and then I'm done. Then I just let it go and I have to go do stuff. And I have a hard time with the swearing. I try. I really am trying. But my mom she was a sailor, you know. I actually do have quite an extensive vocabulary. I like to read the dictionary, actually, and watch all those dictionary things. But when I was a kid, I would use all of those words and then realize what good were using great big words when people couldn't understand you. And I would write letters, especially to my uncle, and he and his wife said, you know, we love getting your letters, but we have to look up every other word in the dictionary. But that was because I was reading the dictionary and using words that I, found. So I think that intellectual stimulation is important. Just like I think that going and seeing a therapist and dealing with a therapist and to find out things about yourself and better understand yourself is also important. I would highly suggest therapy for that idiot Lynn. You know, I just do yourself a favor, because right now you ain't doing yourself any. But that's the way this works. But with that, I'm going to get off here. This has been fun. I try to be as authentic as I possibly can. And it's not an ego thing. And I'm okay with criticism. In fact, I actually like to hear feedback. I really do. It's just that when the arguments are just designed to harass, and they're circular, and they go nowhere, and they're about things that have been dealt with years ago, that was when I get irritated with the whole situation. And these people are idiots, and they think they're going to get me to cower, and that's never going to happen, because God is with me. They can say whatever they want, but heaven is with me. That's the problem that they have, is that heaven is with me and appreciates and agrees with my intents. That's their problem. Heaven is just as pissed off with them as I am. So they can go screw themselves. With that, I don't want to end with that. If you can do anything tonight to actually do something for yourselves before you go to bed, verbally, out loud, thank God for up to 5 things in your life that you're grateful for. And heaven loves a grateful heart. And you will find that your prayers will open up so much more when you start your prayers with gratitude. Just a suggestion. You can either listen to what I have to say or totally dismiss it. But I speak from the heart, and oftentimes I speak from experience. And so, oh no, you can't let it go. Dude, chances are he's getting paid to be in here. Because they pay these little teenage kids that live in their mom's basement to do this shit. That's what they do. And they sit online and wait for people to come on. They're just paid trolls. They're just, you have to feel sorry for them. Because this dude is not doing well in school. I'm just saying. He's not doing well in school. All right. With that said, bye, guys.